Hello, my sexy muffins, and welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be doing a Patreon early access video. So this will be early access for the patrons, but they voted on it, which it is going to be their Outlaw, which is headcanons and such. At least headcanons of Yandere John Marston and Yandere Arthur Morgan sharing you headcanon. So this is if they were sharing you the headcanons and traits they would have and all that. And also a scenario where they are sharing you and a scenario that I make up from my head because I did not prepare at all. So anyways, let's do this. Headcanons and traits first. But before that, disclaimers. Disclaimer, John Marston and Arthur Morgan would not share a partner in the game's canon and such. Remember, this is fiction and just for fun. Disclaimer number 2. John Marston and Arthur Morgan are not Yandere in canon. This is just for fun and not to be taken seriously at all. Simping for fictional characters and Yanderes is fine. Just do not be illegal or gross about it. You know who you are, you dirty flaky biscuits. Yanderes are not ideal partners to have in real life. Also remember to separate fiction from reality and headcanon from canon. A thank you. Now let's get on to business. John Marston and Arthur Morgan would not be fully ready to share you with each other at first. They both are fully in love and in obsessive love with you and want you to be theirs and theirs alone. So they did not want to share at first, but they know the best case scenario of them being able to keep you and take care of you is if they were to share you with each other, is to be the ones to share you together. So they would be at some point be able to agree on sharing you and work together to have you as their partner. John, of course, had to first fully break up with Abigail and leave his son. That is that is what peeved off Arthur Morgan more than anything. Sorry, my brain just buffered. Is what peeved off Arthur Morgan about sharing you with John, because John had a partner before you with AKA Abigail and a kid, AKA Jack Marston. And yet John wanted you when you are Arthur's out. Sorry, my tongue is really buffering. For those who do not know, I had a brain injury and surgery that caused me to take the words from my head where they don't come out of my mouth right, or where I can't write them right, and my grammar and stuff is poo. So my tongue getting tripped over it is something that is due to the injury. I apologize. Anyways, where were we? That is what pissed. There we are. That John wanted Arthur's outlaw, aka you, his outlaw, as you're an outlaw in this. It really peeved Arthur Morgan off a lot. Arthur, in fact, found it very unfair because John had a partner, aka Abigail, and a kid before he wanted you. And so, in Arthur's eyes, John was being really greedy to want you as well when you are Arthur's love of his life. John indeed is giving up everything he had, Abigail and Jack, so that he can be with you instead of the woman that gave birth to his son. Arthur does remind John of this a lot and does little digs at John to remind John that if he ever left you or hurt you, he would never get you back and Arthur would never let John near you again. Arthur is very loyal and so is John, and they both are very, very extremely loyal. They're probably the most loyal men in the series. You would have two lovers who are very loyal to you, John and Arthur, and they would not want to share you with anyone else. Hell, they barely want to share you with each other. They barely get along with each other, and why would they want to share with you with anyone other than them at that point? They both know how dangerous being an outlaw is, so they are very protective of you. Although they are yanderes that would not lock you up at camp at all. They, in their eyes, if you go on outings and jobs with them, specifically them, then you would indeed be able to be safe and sound, and they would be able to teach you how to survive as an outlaw that you are. They would be able to keep their eyes on you at all times, both to make sure that you are safe and sound, and at least with one of them at all times, and that rivals stay clear of you. They would not let you do anything stupid, but they would teach you how to survive, such as pewing pew pews and hunting, fishing, and living off the land, of course. They both had families in the past, and they both know how dangerous the world of being an outlaw is. So they would not want you to have a family with them right away until it was perfectly safe. May the family be biological kids or adopted kids. They also make sure that the piece of poo racists stay away from you. People like Micah Bell are scum to them, and they do not want people like Micah anywhere near you. They both respect women and people of color. So if you were a person of color, they would very much still respect you. If you were AFAB, aka assigned female at birth, they would be more gentle and respectful of you, more so because you are that's just the way the times worked. It was a different time. If you're AMAB, which is sorry, I read that wrong. AMAB, yes, AMAB, which is assigned male at birth, they would be the type to be a little bit more firm with you, but they're still more gentle with you than they are with other men. Particularly John, he's a little bit more rough on you than Arthur is. If you have male parts down south. They are very more progressive. So if you were non-gender conform in any way, shape, or form, they would be more accepting of that than anyone else in the series, I believe. Pretty much, regardless of how you see yourself gender wise, or what is in your pants, or what skin color you have, they would love you, and they would want to have the perfect life with you, and they see you as perfect where you are with any gender identity, sexuality, etc. They would not accept anyone treating you poorly either for any reason at all, and they would not let anyone else take you away from them. As time goes on, they become more attracted to you and more attached to you and will put you above others in a lot of ways and your safety above others in a lot of ways. They deal with rivals by tag teaming them a bit, and they keep an eye on you more, so they always know when a rival is around and they can deal with the rivals faster. As they can get rid of rivals more efficiently with the two of them instead of being separate, and they will make sure that you are safe and sound and no one takes you away from them. They would not try and unalive rivals if they do not have to. They will try and scare them off at first, unless they're from different gangs like the O'Driscolls or Pinkertons. If that is the case, then they are for sure going to pew pew them and make sure they are out of the way with zero hesitation. They would just leave those rivals that they pew pewed to rot in the road. To rot. Not I wrote the wrong word. There we go. Anyways, they confessed to you after they both realized they were in love with you, and they agreed that they would share you. If you accept their love, they are going to make sure that you have the best life that you can with them as an outlaw, of course, because it's always risky as an outlaw. If you tell them you cannot be with them because you either only love one of them, and it's not fair to only love one of them, or you didn't love either of them, then they will be honest with you and tell you that it did not matter. They both loved you and they planned on sharing you, and you were going to love them eventually. Be it with be it may it take some time, they will teach you to learn how to love them. They have a hard time doing a balancing act where to make sure that you love each of them and that you spend enough time with both of them. They do sometimes get petty with each other and jealous of each other. So you are the one that really has to do a balancing act to make sure John and Arthur get an equal amount of time with you. It is not the easiest thing to do. They can get really annoyed with each other if they think the other person got more time with you than them. And it makes them have arguments sometimes and even little fist fights every now and then where you have to scold them and patch them up. But they do their best to not get into fights because they know it's hard on you and not fair to you. Either way, they will do their best to be the best partners with you to their final breaths. Since Arthur will be most likely unalive because of his tuberculosis, I can't say the word, I can't say it. I'm sorry. You know what I mean. And he would make sure that John would promise to love you and always be with you, so that he can have so that you at least have one of them with you until your final breaths. Otherwise, Arthur promises that he will beat the ever loving daylights out of John when he dies if he does not take care of you in the end. In the end, John will eventually settle down with you, and you two will live the life that you could have lived with Arthur as well if he didn't get sick. It was sad, but in the end, one day you'll return to Arthur's arms and they will love you in the afterlife as well. And now, on to scenario. Let me see how long this video is getting first. Yeah, I think I should end this part and do a second audio to add at the end of this. So give me a sec. One sec. And we are back. Sorry that I had to take a sec for doing that. I just wanted to make sure that I got the audio right and I didn't go over where the audio starts cracking and it ends up a freaking hot mess. So we are doing the second part of the audio, which is right now. Now on to the scenario, which is coming just from my head as I speak. So sorry if it's a bit scrambled. Arthur and John both loved you, and you did your best to have your partners, Arthur and John, with you. Of course, being an outlaw that lived on the camp with John and Arthur was not always easy because they had to move their stuff around, and John, being the good man that he was, left most of his items and stuff with Abigail and Jack, and also made sure that Abigail and Jack were still provided for because he's a good man and does the right thing to make sure they're taken care of, but he has cut off all emotional and romantic attention to Abigail and does not take care of Jack anymore at all. But he still provides for them. Basically, he's paying child support, basically. So he moved into your tents, and you moved in between Arthur's tent and John's tent to spend time equally with them when they get alone time, because they said they were not sharing a bed together. They were dang sure about that. So it was easier for you to do this, but you still had your stuff and you separated both your stuff in the tents. It's the best way it can work, and it was the best situation so far. Of course, you got attention from some of the other men and women in the tent since you were not very well. You were just who you were, and you got attention from both of the two genders at this time period. And they obviously were into you. Of course, John and Arthur did not like to share you, and they noticed that Micah Bell was getting very close to sniffing around you and being a real. I can't say that word on YouTube. I will get demonetized. Anyways, he's a real piece of work. So he ends up sniffing around you. And when you're at the campfire cooking some food for everyone in the camp, since you did take some of the more female tasks as well when you were at the camp, so you could take care of John and Arthur and contribute to the camp as well when they needed to rest, even though you do go on out on a lot of jobs with John and Arthur, but you do like the time in the camp as well. Hey there, pretty one, he says, and you roll your eyes. You always hated how he called you pretty. You preferred gender neutral terms, which was good for you. Hello, Micah, you say, trying to keep your voice calm and pleasant. You did not want to cause an issue with John and Arthur being pissed at Micah. They already did not like Micah at all. Well, I was wondering if you want to have some fun, he says, grabbing his junk, and you made a visible face of disgust. I'm sorry, I'm not into you like that. Oh, why not? You're sucking off John and Arthur, aren't you? He says. And why not me too? You're the one who's slutting around. He was clearly shaming you for being with two men at the same time. Micah, it is none of your business who I service or not. And I am in a relationship with Arthur and John. Yes, they both share me, but they do not share each other. So if you will kindly frick off and go frick yourself, you tell him, either obviously using the other F words, but you walked away before he grabbed you and you moved your hand and punched him in the face, hearing a satisfying crack as he falls back and burns his arm a bit. You freaking biscuit, he says, shouting at you, very pissed off that you laid your hands on him. You grabbed me after making suggestions that I service you. You tell him, you're lucky I don't cut your family jewels off, you tell him firmly, very pissed off that he would dare lay a hand on you. Well, she's just a what? Arthur says, walking up behind you and moving in front of you, as John held his gun and pointed it directly at Micah's head. Everyone in the camp was silent, and you were tense as well. You knew how protective they were of you, and you were pretty sure if Micah did not play this right, that John or Arthur or both of them would unalive him. Now, what were you saying to our darling? John says, referring to you, and cocks his gun. I was. Listen here, Arthur says, and gives a firm kick to Micah's family jewels. You ever touch them again or make any interest in them, I will unalive you and I will put you in the ground. Is that frickin' clear? He says, firmly kicking him in the balls repeatedly over and over and over. It was really brutal. And if Dutch did not come over and break it up, you were sure he was going to crush Micah's family jewels for making that suggestion. Arthur grabs you by the arm and John spits on Micah's face and they lead you away. They needed to keep an extra close eye on you because Micah laid their hands on you. And if it wasn't for Dutch, Micah would be unalived by now. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this. If you would like to see more, comment below what you would like to see, and I will do my best to do it and all that good stuff. As usual, this is a Patreon early access, so the patrons got early access to it. But I do will it because the Patreon that is paying for the witches, warlocks, sorcerers here, thank you to them, I will get to that as well, has been asking for Red Dead Redemption stuff, so that's why you see that. If you're interested in joining my Patreon but don't want the adult fun time stuff, you can actually go to the witches and warlocks tier where you can be part of votes. And I always ask when new people come along, what stuff do you want me to put in votes and stuff, and then I tailor the votes to what the people of the witches and warlocks sorcerer tier wants, and they get votes for like bonus videos that I make throughout the month and such. So if that is something you're interested in, go to my Patreon. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed this. And Patreon outro time. Patreon outro. Thank you, Pumpkin Toffee, for suggesting Red Dead Redemption stuff and for being my witches and warlocks and sorcerers tier as my newest patron. Thank you, Pumpkin Toffee. I appreciate you, and I hope that you enjoyed this. You are beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, as usual. Thank you. And thank you, Gav, for being my original patron and with me in the Queens, Kings, and Majesties tier. I appreciate you as well, and I will get to yours next. This is the one I had to get done before this, and then it's yours. And then I'm caught up on Patreon videos for this month. So thank you, Gav, for your patience, and I hope you enjoyed the Easter special. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed, and if you would like to see more, comment below what you would like to see, and I will do my best to do it as usual. And stay sexy on my sexy muffins. Bye bye. Secret outro time. Secret outro time. Secret outro time. Secret outro. Baseball bat. Welcome to the secret outro. And the secret outro question of the day is: would you want to be shared by John and Arthur, or would you prefer John and Arthur? I would prefer any three of the situations, but if I could have both, that would be the best case scenario. Would you smash a threesome with John and Arthur and you being the third person in the threesome? I would definitely smash that. Or would you pass that? I would smash though. Anyways, I hope that you all enjoyed and stay sexy on my sexy muffins. Bye bye.